Alright, so in today's video, we have to talk about the Dahlia, also known as Constance, because the community has been going absolutely wild since the recent discussion about her preset teams. The moment those team compositions surfaced, Reddit turned into a full-on Break Society debate. People are celebrating, doom posting, and arguing whether she's about to save the entire archetype or become the next Fugue 2.0. So let's break down what players are saying, how her potential kit might work, and what this means for the meta heading into version 3.8. Permancer Terrae and Anaxa banners are coming, and you can save up to 25% on these banners at lootbar.gg. Right now, Lootbar has a 3.6 limited 6,480 shards pack for only $76, while it's $100 in-game. So on Lootbar, you're saving $24. I just enter my UID and select a server. I received the shards right away on my account. Besides Honkai, you can also top up in Genshin. Lootbar has over 100,000 satisfied users and also supports PS5 and Xbox top-ups. I regularly use Lootbar for my giveaways, so I can personally recommend it. Use my link in the description for an additional 10% discount. The starting point is simple. According to community data from Anon's posts, Dahlia's internal test teams pair her with Firefly, Fugue, and Lingshaw, or the same trio, but with Harmony Trailblazer instead. Both versions scream Firebreak synergy. Anon added that Boothill and Rappa are still compatible, but the devs mainly tested Firefly because she has 100 times more active players. That single line set the stage for a week of chaos. Firefly mains yelling, "Break is back," while Boothill and Rappa fans felt thrown under the bus, but it also gives us a clear direction. Dahlia is being tuned as a Fire Nihility Break support, built to push the Super Break archetype rather than general DOT or crit teams. From what players are theorizing, Dahlia's design flips the usual Harmony formula. Instead of buffing allies like Ruin Mei, she probably debuffs enemies, increasing how much toughness damage they take or multiplying their Super Break damage multiplier. That would fit the Nihility path perfectly, weaken the foe rather than strengthen the team, and explain why her partners are all break amplifiers. Imagine a setup where Fugue boosts Super Break scaling, Harmony Trailblazer adds a Divine Deliverance domain multiplier, and Dahlia applies a debuff that makes the enemy itself more vulnerable to break. You can already see how that rotation would chain into massive numbers, especially with Firefly's break-heavy ult loops. Now, there's a strong belief that her skill could apply a toughness vulnerability mark, letting allies deal more break damage or even re-extend the broken state. Some theory crafters go further, predicting a rebreak field from her ultimate, a zone where enemies are treated as half-broken, allowing constant super break damage without waiting for another weakness break. That would fix one of Break's biggest issues, uptime. Ruin Mei's ultimate already extends break duration, but Dahlia might go one step further by preventing enemies from ever fully recovering their toughness bar. If that's true, she'd be the first unit capable of turning continuous break into a real loop rather than a one-shot burst. Of course, not everyone's sold yet. Players remember how Fugue was marketed as the break savior, only for the meta to collapse once anti-break bosses and huge toughness bars showed up. Many argue that unless Dahlia brings a radical new mechanic, like partial toughness recovery or guaranteed action advance when enemies break, she won't be enough to shift the meta on her own. Others counter that her fire typing and Nihility kit make her far more future-proof, especially if Hoyoverse plans to focus on elemental break synergies in the next region. One of the most talked about points is her relationship to Ruin Mei. The phrase Ruin Mei Pro Max has been everywhere, but some detailed posts actually explain why the two might not work well together. A player called Cheesy Poo ran the numbers. Firefly already gets 50% weakness break efficiency on her ultimate. Adding Ruin May's extra 50% only gives about a 33% real damage increase, whereas adding Super Break multiplier from Fugue or Harmony Trailblazer can boost damage by 80% or more. In short, stacking WBE yields diminishing returns. So, if Dahlia also focuses on it, the two might compete for the same slot. It's easy to see why many believe she's meant to replace Ruin May as the premium break buffer, especially now that Ruin May is free in the Stellar Shop. Still, a lot of veterans are keeping an open mind. Some point out that test teams often exclude old units simply for data comparison. Maybe Dahlia and Ruin May can coexist if their buffs target different layers. One boosting efficiency, the other amplifying multiplier or defense reduction. But there's also that familiar Ho-Yo rhythm we've seen before. Release a free unit everyone can access, then drop a paid upgrade 2 patches later. The timeline fits almost perfectly. The community conversation isn't just numbers, though. It's emotional. Firefly mains are ecstatic, shouting "Save the Break Society," while Boot Hill and Rappa fans joke about being statistically extinct. Others are cautious, saying, "Classic Ho-Yo bait. Buff break now, kill it again in 4.x. And honestly, they might have a point. Break has always been the roller coaster archetype of Star Rail. It thrives when enemies are designed for it, then disappears when bosses gain anti-break mechanics. People love it because it lets every member, even sustain units, contribute real damage without relying on crit damage ratio or defense shred. But they also know how fragile that balance is. When you look at the full picture, Dahlia seems to represent a shift toward enemy-focused scaling. If her debuffs apply to toughness damage taken, or Super Break multiplier directly, she could make break teams feel faster and smoother, even in multi-target fights. Her fire element could also create synergy loops with relics like Iron Cavalry and planar sets, built around Firebreak effects, something players noticed months ago when those pieces started showing up early. From a design standpoint, that would be smart. Use one element to unify an entire archetype and wrap up the 3.x cycle on a cohesive note before the new planet arrives. So where does that leave us? The most balanced take across the comments is that Dahlia will probably make break teams more consistent, not necessarily broken tier. She might not power creep Ruin May out of every team, but she could finally give Firefly, Boot Hill, and Rappa their own separate lanes instead of fighting for the same slot. And if her debuff system really stacks with existing multipliers, from Fugue and Harmony Trailblazer, we might finally see full dual break teams become realistic for Memory of Chaos runs. Personally, I think that's what makes her so exciting. Not the raw numbers, but the design philosophy. Turning a buff archetype into a debuff archetype feels fresh, and it plays into what makes Nihility characters interesting in the first place. Whether she ends up as the true break savior or just another short-lived experiment, Dahlia's release is already sparking some of the best theory crafting discussions we've had all year. Anyway, that's the full rundown on Dahlia's potential playstyle, her team's synergies, and how the community's reacting to her upcoming arrival in 3.8. What do you think? Is she going to revive the break meta, or will she join the long list of short-lived experiments? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and if you want more deep dive analysis like this, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next breakdown when her kit details officially drop. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Buy 6,480 Oneiric shards with 3.6 limited pack for only $71 at lootbar.gg. Returning users can also grab an extra coupon for up to 5% off. Link in the description.